Hello, this is Debbie Emerson, and welcome to the Sacred Activations for June 2025. So, our card this month, again from the Cosmic Consciousness Ascension deck, Jamie Price, is Truth. I just wanted to hold that up for a moment and let you see the light language and just allow that light language, the information and symbology in the light language, the written light language, to flow into your space. So, as usual, go ahead and get yourself situated into a comfortable position in a comfortable space where you'll be undisturbed for a few minutes, 10, 15, 20. My intention is usually to keep these around 15 minutes. It seems like they always go about 20 or a little bit more. So just go ahead and sit with your feet flat on the floor, your arms and legs uncrossed. And as usual, I always suggest that you gently close your eyes, and that just helps you to bring your attention and awareness back to your body. And as you close your eyes, just begin to give yourself some nice deep breaths, just watching and feeling and noticing that breath as it flows into your lungs and out of your lungs. Again, just letting that breath carry you inwards. And then you can go ahead and say hello to your connection to the earth, from that root chakra down to the center of the earth. And on the exhale, just decide you're going to let go of anything that isn't yours. Just letting go of all that foreign energy just creates more space for you to be in your body in present time, to be here now, to be present. And then just find your way up into the center of your head, right behind your eyes, between your ears, and situate yourself in that space, that sacred, neutral space in the center of your head. Just decide you're going to really own it and expand your energy into that space. And just for a moment, notice the shift as you move into that neutral space. And then before we get started, let's go ahead and collect up a big golden sun above our heads, calling back our energy from wherever it might be. And when that golden sun is nice and big, just go ahead and let it begin to flow into your crown chakra on the top of your head, flowing all the way down through your body, through your energy field, filling you up with your own beautiful life force energy. So the affirmation that goes along with this card is, my truth evolves with me. And the first activation that I chose for today is called False Prophets Deactivation. So this activation is going to disconnect us from the collective consciousness of fear, which is fed by leaders and gurus who claim that only they can save their followers. Such false prophets feed the fear with their self-serving lies and illusions. It gives you discernment to see the real truth, to see who is truly connected to the energies of love and who has their power agenda. It also shows you the truth that we are all able to make that connection and stand in our own integrity without needing anyone to save us. This activation will unplug us from the fear and plugs us into the Christ consciousness grid. So I'm going to go ahead and begin this activation or deactivation, false prophets deactivation. Okay, so as this is beginning, I'm sure we've all been aware on some level and at some points in our life how much programming there is to give our power to something outside of us, whether it's a teacher or a rule or a government or whatever institution is trying to commandeer our energy. Okay, so there's just a lot of heavy energy kind of bubbling to the surface around this. And I see it like after it rains and then the sun comes out, and there's as the water is evaporating, it just kind of creates, steam on a hot day. So that grayish, heavy, controlling energy is just kind of dissipating out of our spaces as this deactivation is working. And just remind yourself to breathe. Just feels like it's significantly lightening up our spaces. Just feels like there's more space, more room, more flow. It just felt really compacted and contracted and condensed when we first began. So it's like chiseling away some of this old, solidified almost energy. So whatever's coming up for you, just breathe into it and let it go. Just, all those lies about who are you to think you know what's right or what's true or what's real. Who are you? You're not an expert. So whatever's coming up for you, just say hello, have some amusement about it, and let it go. I see some really pretty yellows and pinks coming in now to kind of buoy up, to boost and support those parts of ourselves that do know and do realize that we do have our own answers, that we don't have to feel like we're making things up. We don't have to feel invalidated. So it's just a lot of validation energy and reminding us that we have the power. It's all inside of us. And as this is finishing up, I see some really pretty pink energy coming in, that unconditional love energy. And also, it's kind of really soothing and supporting our self-worth and self-esteem too. So the second activation is called God's Truth. And this activation allows you to really step into God's truth so that you are directly connected to the source and are always connected. This is pure understanding of knowledge and truth. You embody all God's senses: sight, sound, knowing, feeling, and tasting. You are part of the source energy, manifesting with grace and ease. And so it's not like we're giving our power away to God or source. It's like when we connect into that source, then we have that gives us more energy, I guess is best way to say it. It kind of sheds. I kind of see that energy as like light, like a bright light that's illuminating our own information. And as we are more connected with that, our consciousness expands. That expansion of consciousness and that light just illuminates more and more, and it expands and broadens our ability to see, perceive, and know on all levels. Okay, so here we go with God's truth. Okay, I see a really pretty deep sapphire blue coming in here. It's kind of swirling in a sort of like it spirals, and it's also kind of like the infinity sign, or it's not exactly the infinity sign, but it's actually kind of going like this. So, so it's just kind of weaving its way in. And I see like these little flecks of dark colors kind of being brought to the surface. And the funny picture that I see along with this is kind of like when you beat a rug and kind of the dust kind of comes out. this energy isn't beating beating the energy out, but it's that flow of spirals and swirls of energy are just causing those things that need to come to the surface to be released to do so. And as those little dark flecks of energy and information and programming and so forth are coming up to the surface, they're just dissipating. And I even see some of them almost turning into like little birds and butterflies and flying away. And now I'm seeing just some white unconscious energy being released. It just seems like the opposite of that the energy that first came in when we started is spiraling in. This white unconscious energy is spiraling out. So it's the other energy was coming in clockwise, and the white energy is kind of spiraling out counterclockwise, just being removed, returned to wherever it came from. And I'm just getting chills right now. And I just see that connection to source energy, to God, just really being cleaned out and cleared out. And I just see this beautiful sunshine yellow flowing through our connection to source, really opening up and strengthening that connection so that we have access to all of the information that we desire. Okay. And as it's finishing up, I just see just some pretty pinks flowing in. They're kind of almost like raindrops coming in rather than a flow, so to speak. Okay, nice deep breath. We're going to move on to the next activation, which is called loving expression. And this activation is about connecting us deep within to our hearts, and so that we can fully receive every part of us. All the aspects, the good, the bad, the ugly, the powerful, the weak, the brilliant, the not so brilliant, and anything else that we might go into resistance of or judge in any way. So, so when we embark on a healing journey and embrace our core wisdom, we need to do it lovingly so that we can lift off all these other layers in order to access and embrace our purest truth and then express it in our lives. So as we begin to lift off these layers with this activation, you'll begin to see yourself with eyes of love and then begin to see the world with eyes of love. This is the pathway of the tribal spirit to become a human who sees the world through eyes of love while clearly and lovingly expressing their sacred truth. So here we go with loving expression. The first thing I see releasing is just fear. It can be scary sometimes to really own who we are, especially if it's places within ourselves that we might judge ourselves, or places that have been criticized by somebody or by society in general. We might bump into that program, the societal programming that says, well, you should be this way or do that, or whatever. So just have a little laugh, an inner laugh about that stuff that you bump into, and breathe into it. Just help it go, let it go. Decide you're just going to let as much of this release as you can right now. And again, remind yourself to breathe. Keeps the energy flowing. Okay. So I'm seeing a picture of like seeds, like things that have been suppressed within each of us, and those seeds or those seeds of ideas and seeds of who we are beginning to grow and sprout. And this is just a metaphor for really beginning to really allow that to come up and out and expand in your energy field, expand in your life. And I'm just seeing a lot of like green growth energy come in, along with some like lemon yellow as this is winding up. Okay, we're going to move on to the fourth activation, which is called deeds, not words. This activation helps you to evolve to a place of committing your goals into action rather than just talking about them. Most likely, there are several layers that need to be cleared to get there. Part of the path is to walk your talk, speak your truth, along with separating yourself from what's not true for you. This requires you to be brutally honest with yourself. In this process, you will learn to say only what you mean rather than saying what you think others want to hear. I'm sure we've all done that at least once or twice. Okay, here we go with deeds, not words. Well, for some interesting reason, I'm seeing a picture of a person walking on a tightrope. I think this just has to do with really finding that truth within ourselves and focusing on that. And it's not like we're gonna fall off the tightrope and do damage to ourselves, but it's just telling me that sometimes our own personal truth is quite defined, and oftentimes because it might not be totally aligned with what those around us are considering true or the right thing to do or actions to take, that we tend to waver. So that makes sense. And I'm also getting the sense that sometimes we just, kind of like the name of the activation, deeds, not words. It's like, there's that saying, talk is cheap. So it's nice to say, it's nice to speak and say nice things, but this activation is really guiding us to be very selective about what we say and how we say it, because words are powerful. And we can always speak our truth, but there's oftentimes a better way to speak our truth, if we stop and think about it and be selective with how we communicate. Okay, a couple nice deep breaths. Seeing more unconscious energy releasing. I'm seeing some resistance releasing, ours and other people's resistance that we might bump into. And as it's finishing up, I'm seeing a real pretty pink energy coming in again. So here we go with the next activation, which is fear of seeing the truth. This activation connects you to your higher truth and helps remove any fear associated with seeing your highest truth. Sometimes it can be scary to see the truth. Okay, so here we go with fear of seeing the truth. And the first image I'm seeing is kind of like a little child. And, somebody is turning the knob of like a jack in the box, and the jack in the box comes out and scares the little child, and the child starts crying. And so what I'm getting is this is just a metaphor uh, for oftentimes the things we fear, um, and we resist so much and push away, and spend so much of our energy trying not to be aware of it. Oftentimes it's just like a child's toy. It might startle you, it might scare you in the moment, but in the end it's just this fake little thing that pops out and can't hurt you at all. And maybe you've experienced that once you faced a fear, it's like you're like, wow, that was nothing compared to all the time I spent worrying about it or whatever. So again, have some amusement. And then I'm just hearing the words, the truth will set you free, which I'm sure most of us know intellectually. It's just sometimes a jump, a leap of faith to to feel into that and to move into that. And I'm just seeing a lot of that resistance and that energy that's been tied up with resisting the truth or blocking the truth, covering it up. A lot of that energy is just being released, and as it is, it's like it's just freeing up so much more of our energy. There's so much more movement and flow, um, and access to our creative energy as this other energy around fear of seeing the truth is released. And I'm just seeing lots of another pretty yellow. I guess yellow is the color. Yellow and pink seem to be the color of the day. Yellow coming in, and in this yellow is just amusement. Just like, you know, have a laugh at yourself at how serious you take things sometimes. Okay, nice deep breath. So we're going to move on to creator's truth. So this is both an activation and a deactivation, and it might sound a little similar to God's truth, but it's a little bit different. It unplugs you from the human grid of fear and connects you into the seventh plane of the truth. This activation will support you in stepping into your power and your truth, and it will free you from being controlled by the fear of the group consciousness. Okay, here we go with Creator's Truth. And as this is beginning, I'm just seeing a image of like, of course, this is always, metaphorical and symbolic, um, of just these big, beautiful hands just reaching down and kind of holding us. And it's reminded me of an old song, I've got the whole world in my hands. So, and I'm just feeling just these waves of love flowing through me. And just hearing the words that you are safe. So just as the fear is being deactivated, and as you're being unplugged from that human grid of fear and connected into that seventh plane of the truth, it's just shifting everything like completely, completely. And I just almost feel like I'm floating, like I can almost levitate here. Feel so much lighter. And I see some really pretty blues coming in, just some soft kind of pastel blues of different shades. Just really soothing and comforting energy. All right, so as this is completing, we're going to move on to the final activation for today, which is called Speak Truth. This activation will give you the support you need to speak your truth with love and compassion, even when it feels difficult. It will help you to release the fear of confrontation when truth and when you're speaking your truth. I think there's a typo there. And support you in expressing your truth from pure intentions of love and authentic expression. So here we go, is Speak Truth. And immediately I'm seeing the energy working in that fifth chakra, the front as well as the back, and even up along the back of the neck and the base of the skull there. That base of the skull is where there's a point there that they call the mouth of God, I believe. And there's also in the back of the head and along the back of the neck and shoulders, there's also transmedium channels where other energies plug in to that we either bring through us or they're trying to communicate to us. And those are being cleared out because sometimes when other energies get in there, it just kind of interferes with our ability to be able to really speak our own personal truth as we're trying to say what it is we feel and we know and so forth. The energy kind of, as it flows in and flows through us, it kind of bumps into those oftentimes contrary energies. So those channels are being cleared out. And also the channels like there's also transmedium channels like in the face area, the neck, and around the ears, in the sinus area. And I'm just seeing like, energy flying everywhere. It's like almost like, take fleeing, clothes out of a drawer because you're looking for something that's at the bottom and you can't find it. But the energy's just going everywhere. It's like, okay, let's get rid of this now, quickly. Again, amusement. And just smile within or smile. Just let yourself smile. Yeah, let's take a couple of nice deep breaths. And you might want to just sigh audibly a couple times. There's just, some sadness and grief releasing related to all the times that we might not have spoken our truth or been afraid to speak our truth. And where that's got kind of like, backed up, the communication channels have gotten backed up a little bit. And there's just this kind of angst and sadness and even some grief around that. So breathe and just use your breath to help that completely move out. All right, as this is finishing up, again, just seeing some pretty pinks coming in and that really soothing light blue color. So give yourself a couple of nice deep breaths. And again, just know that these activations will continue for each person as long as your higher self deems it necessary. And just take a moment to say hello to that grounding cord, your connection to Mother Earth, the center of your head, and collect up a nice big gold sun above your head. Letting that gold sun get really, really big, just calling back your life force energy from wherever it is. And then just let that gold sun energy flow into the crown chakra, all the way down and through the body and out into the energy field around your body, all the energy layers, the aura layers, or the energy channels. And just let it also float deeply within to the microscopic aspects of what we call our physical being and body. And when you're ready, give yourself a couple more nice deep breaths. Pat your body, lean over and stretch. Thank your body for getting you here, being here for you, giving you a vehicle to maneuver through space and time. I had a teacher that used to call our body our space ship. I think that's what she said. And thank you once again for joining me for the sacred activations for June. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the month of June. Take care, and I'll see you next time.